Hello friends, do you love tea and natural wellness products as much as I do? I've partnered with Positively Tea and Positively Botanicals, and I can honestly say I drink their organic loose leaf tea almost every day, and I love it. From organic teas to natural remedies, they offer high-quality products that support a healthy, mindful lifestyle. When you shop through my affiliate link, you not only discover amazing products for yourself, but you also help support the podcast. Visit the link in the show notes to explore their selections today. And for you coffee lovers, they have you covered as well. Treat yourself, support the show, and keep connecting with the natural world. Hello friends, and welcome to the Forest Connection. I'm Paul, your host, and today we're going to slow down. We're going to reconnect with the natural world in a thing we call forest bathing. I want to introduce you to forest bathing today, and don't worry, we're not going to be stripping down naked and jumping in a creek in the middle of the forest. No. Not the type of bathing that we're going to be doing. What we're going to do is what we call Shinrin-Yoku. It's a Japanese term, and basically what it means is forest bathing. Now, some people think that, if you've heard of it before, some people actually think that Shinrin-Yoku is an ancient tradition. And honestly, it's not. No, it's not ancient. The term Shinrin-Yoku, or forest bathing, actually was coined in 1982 in Japan. They did a lot of studies in Japan on how people basically healed in nature, how they reacted to nature. So I'm sure it started out with someone walking through the woods, and when they got out of the woods, they just felt so much more relaxed, so much better than they had before. And so they started doing studies on this, and they would actually take people's blood work before and after. They would take their blood pressure, they would check their heart rate, before they went for a walk in the woods and after. And they found things like stress level hormones were going down when they were hiking in the woods. They found that their blood pressure would drop hiking in the woods. They found that their heart rate would lower while they're hiking in the woods. And just all the research that they did actually pointed them in the direction that, hey, hiking in the woods is good for you. And in Japan, where the work ethic is work, they needed stress release. So what they started doing is they actually started creating these parks, these areas, these forests with trails for forest bathing, designed just for forest bathing. And it actually started to become very popular. People were finding it just took their stresses away. And it ended up spreading throughout the world, and now even in the United States we do forest bathing. There are several places that you can go and do forest bathing on your own or join groups that do forest bathing. So how do you forest bathe? Well, that's what we're going to get to in this episode. I want to go through the basics of forest bathing because there have been studies all over the world showing that nature heals. Watching kids who, even in a classroom, kids in the classroom that have windows facing the brick wall across the alley, their grades, their attention span, their learning abilities are lower than kids who sit in a classroom that have windows open to trees and nature. There's been studies in hospitals where patients who have rooms with windows facing out to nature, they heal quicker than patients who have rooms with no windows or windows facing, another building or non-nature views. So they have quicker healing time, quicker releases, better healing. It's been proven scientifically. So this is not just craziness, this forest bathing. So let's learn about forest bathing and how to do it. So you want to try forest bathing. Maybe you want to let nature heal you by walking in the woods. Well, there's a simple way of just walking in the woods, but we're going to go through what forest bathing is actually about, how to do forest bathing. Now, a forest bathing session, you can do it on your own, or you can do it with a group. If you are unfamiliar with it, if you are uncomfortable walking through the woods by yourself, find a group that's doing forest bathing. There's not a lot in the United States, but there are some groups that do forest bathing around. At some point, I am going to start leading some forest bathing hikes, walks, I should say. It's not hiking, you are walking, you're going slow. I will start leading some, but it's probably not till next summer that I will start doing that. So I'm going to walk through the different steps for doing forest bathing properly. Now, this is just steps that you should do. You can alter them as you wish, whatever fits your needs, whatever fits your feelings, your emotions at the time. Okay, so step one, your arrival at the forest. So if you're by yourself or whether you're with a group, you basically find a starting point. I mean, it doesn't have to be huge woods, it can be a small woods. There's small parks in Japan that they have designated as forest bathing. In the middle of cities, they have built these forest bathing parks so that people can get out and basically de-stress on their lunch breaks. So it doesn't have to be big. Find a place to go forest bathing. Find the entrance. Maybe there's a couple of trees that mark the entrance. Maybe it's just a certain path that you walk off the road and you're on that path. That's your entrance. Okay, so gather at that starting point with your group or by yourself. Take a few deep breaths. This is important in my opinion. Okay, this is a part that I always do no matter when I am forest bathing. Take a few deep breaths. Notice your body. Before you even walk into the woods, set an intention for the walk. Maybe it's to relax. Maybe it's to reconnect. Maybe it's to open up whatever arises. Whatever your intention is, set it before you walk into the woods. Take a few more deep breaths. What you're doing is you're relaxing your body. You're calming your mind. You're getting all those stresses out of your head, all those thoughts about, oh, I have to do this later today. Oh, I have to do that later today. I've got a bunch of stuff I have to do today, and I really don't care right now because I'm in the woods. So set that intention, clear your mind, take a few deep breaths. Think about leaving behind the idea of doing and just step into a mode of simply being. So I'm not going into the woods to do something. I'm going into the woods to be with the woods, to be with myself. Okay, so that's one of the hardest parts of forest bathing. Because a lot of people, they set this intention, oh, I'm going to go in, I'm going to relax. It's like, no, you're setting the intention, yes, but you're not going to work at it, okay? You're not going to be doing it. Okay, I'm going to relax, I'm going to relax. No, you're not relaxing that way. So you set the intention, I'm going to relax. Or you set the intention that you are going to reconnect with nature. That's your intention. But you're not going to do it. You're just going to be and let it happen. Now the second part. Okay, so you have arrived. You've set your intention. Now, the second part of forest bathing is the threshold crossing. This is where you mark the moment of entering the forest. Pause at the trailhead, maybe touch a tree. I always like to take 3 slow, deep breaths before stepping into the forest. Clearing my mind, clearing my thoughts, relaxing my body. After that third step, take a step in to the forest. If you want to mark that spot with a rock or a stick, I know sometimes I will take a stick and I'll put it across, but if it's a public trail, I don't want to do that. But maybe you want to mark it in some way, and you're almost like stepping over that threshold. Notice a shift in atmosphere, any sounds, maybe sense, the light, maybe the air. Notice these things. Now step 3, this was a hard one for me when I first started forest bathing, because to me I love to explore, but I love to walk through the woods exploring. But here we're slowing down. So step 3 is a slow wander. Begin moving very slowly, much slower than you normally walk. So if you're a slow walker, you're going to be going pretty slow through the woods. And that's what I want you to do, is just move slowly. Notice what draws your attention without rushing towards it. Okay, maybe there's this great big, awesome, gnarly tree that just is calling to you. Don't go running over to it. Just notice it. Notice what catches your attention. Maybe the way the sun is shining through the trees. I don't know, it's your experience. I'm not going to guide you to it. I want the forest to guide you to it. So just walk slowly and notice around you. Look for invitations. Notice anything that draws your attention. Maybe it's movement. Maybe it's just something out of the ordinary. Maybe it's something ordinary, but it just caught your attention for some reason. The energy just kind of grabbed you. I want to emphasize here curiosity. I want you to walk through this forest. Even if you've been here 100 times before, I want you to walk through this forest as if it's brand new, as if it's the first time you've ever been there. I do a lot of hiking in a lot of places and forests that I've been to many, many times, and every time I try to go in there as if though it's brand new, as if it's an all-new forest to me. I've never been here before. That's what I always try to look at. Because I always like when I go into a new forest too, because it's like everything's new and I can really explore. But every time I'm there, I'm noticing new stuff. So that's step 3, your slow wander. Now step 4, you started this in step 3. The next step is your sensory invitation. Okay, and what I'm talking about is all those invites. The things that just, you noticed, they grabbed your attention. That's an invitation. Maybe it was a great big log that was just inviting you to walk on top of it, to act like a kid again. Maybe it was a rock, great big boulder in the middle that was inviting you to sit on it. Okay, so look for these invitations, these sensory invitations. Maybe it's a sight, okay, looking closely at textures, colors, the way the light is in the area. Okay, pick a small area, pick a large area. I prefer the small ones. And just notice the things that you see there. The autumn. It's autumn right now, and it's like leaves are starting to change colors, and sometimes it'll just grab me. Every once in a while I see the jack in the pulpit in the woods, the bright red berries that just stand out, and it draws my attention. Okay. Also, sounds. Maybe you want to, only if you're comfortable, close your eyes. Okay, close your eyes. Listen. Listen to the layers of sound, near and far. Like right now, I'm hearing a woodpecker up in the tree above me, but I'm also hearing crickets in the distance. And I'm hearing a little bit of a breeze in the distance through the leaves of the trees. So I'm hearing all these different sounds around me. See, and now those rustling leaves from the wind, the breeze is actually getting closer and closer to me. So listen for the sounds. Maybe touch. I'm sitting on a great big fallen tree right now, and I'm touching the bark of the tree as I'm sitting on it, and there's some moss on it. Okay, so touch it gently. Feel the bark, the moss. Maybe you want to feel the ground beneath your feet. I've actually done forest bathing where I've taken my shoes and socks off, and I've just walked through the forest. Be careful where you're walking, but you're walking slow anyhow. So just take your shoes off. Feel it. Or you can just keep them on if you're comfortable with that. Remember, this is about your comfort too. Reach down and touch the leaves. Reach down and touch the forest floor. Reach down and pick up that acorn and see what it feels like. Always be careful with touch though. If you don't know a plant, don't touch it. You don't want to touch poison ivy accidentally. Okay, so know your plants, be careful with the touch. And smell. Breathe deeply and notice the forest fragrances. What are you smelling? Are you smelling the decaying leaves? Are you smelling, maybe there's a bee's nest nearby and you're smelling honey? Maybe you're smelling the moss or flowers nearby. What are you smelling? Watch for movement. That's another invitation, is movement. You know, maybe you notice a small tree swaying in the breeze. Match it with your body movements. Be one with that tree by moving with it. Or like I said earlier, walk barefoot, slowly swaying with a tree. So all of these are sensory invitations. Now, the next step that I like to do, and this is one that you don't have to do, but it's one of my favorites. It's what we call the sit spot. A sit spot. And you may hear me refer to this now and then about sit spot. What a sit spot is basically you find a comfortable place to rest quietly. I'm sitting on a nice comfortable tree, fallen tree. I've got a log I'm sitting up against. Sometimes I'll find a little notch in the roots of a tree and I'll just rest myself in there and lean up against the tree, become one with the tree. So sit or lie down, observing without agenda. Okay, you're not trying to identify trees. The naturalist in me has this hard time with this part, but you're not trying to identify things. You're just observing without an agenda. You're noticing what changes around you when you stay still. Are the bird songs changing? Maybe you had one sound earlier and now you have a different one. I'm not going to put names to the birds. I'm just noticing different sounds. Maybe the insects, did they change? The wind? When I first sat down, it wasn't windy. I heard the breeze up in the canopy earlier in the distance. Now I'm getting a slight breeze around me. Maybe the light changed. I mean, maybe the sun is moving. I've got a bee right here that's just buzzing around. He landed on the tree next to me, not on the fallen tree, but a live tree next to me. He's kind of digging through the moss. So notice these things. Don't try to look for things, just notice what's around you. So remember, no agenda. Allow the thoughts in your head to come and go. Just be present. That's what we call mindfulness, if you've heard that term before. Just be present. Just notice everything around you. if you suddenly get a thought, oh, those green leaves up above, oh yeah, I have a plant I need to take care of when I get home. I need to water the plants. Just, okay, that's fine. It came into your head. Acknowledge it and then let it go. You're done with that thought. And just start noticing everything around you. Forget about what you have to do later. Live in the present. Now, you can spend as much time as you want in this sit spot. Usually, it depends on what I'm doing that day, how comfortable I am. I'm supposed to be meeting my wife after this, so I was watching the time, but I know she's probably not going to get home until about 1 o'clock, so I want to make sure I get home by 1. So I'll sit here for a little while, but sometimes I'll lose track of time. I'm not sitting there watching my watch or my clock on my phone constantly. No, I'm here. I always try to do forest bathing when I have all the time. Okay, all the time in the world where I don't have anything going on the rest of that day. But just sit as long as you want and notice as long as you want. And you can do as many sit spots as you want too. Maybe you sat here and it's like, okay, it's getting a little uncomfortable here. I don't know, something just doesn't feel right anymore. And then get up, wander a little more. Remember, you're not hiking. You're just slowly moving through the woods, find another sit spot. And just keep doing this. Now, once you feel you're done, or maybe you, like me, have an appointment and you have to call it quits for the day, try not to schedule your forest bathing when you have stuff to do. Okay, but the next step, step 6, and this is optional. Okay, it depends on whether you're with yourself or with a group. If you're with a group, sometimes I like to have a sharing circle. So if you're with a group, invite the participants, and if you'll usually have a leader in your group, and they'll invite you and the other participants to share the reflections. Not an analysis, but what you noticed, what you felt, what you appreciated during your time in the forest. And remind everyone, if you are in a group, hopefully you have a good leader who will do this. Remind everyone that listening without judgment is part of the practice of forest bathing. Okay, everyone feels something different when they're in the woods. That's why I'm trying not to guide you too much here. You're going to feel something different. Maybe you're not comfortable closing your eyes. That's fine. I am. I don't mind closing my eyes when I'm in the forest. Of course, if I'm in an unknown forest in another country and I don't know the animals there, then sometimes I will not close my eyes because I'm not as comfortable. But where I am now, I am very comfortable. I don't mind closing my eyes. So this is about you. Okay, now, the last part. This is closing your session. What you'll do is you'll wander back. Take your time. Wander back to where you entered, your starting place. Go over that threshold that you maybe marked with a stone or a stick. Go over that threshold. Thank the forest. Thank the forest for helping you to heal, to become more relaxed. Okay. And it can be just a simple bow. Maybe putting a hand on a tree, saying a nice quiet moment of gratitude to the forest. I sometimes take an offering with me. I have some ground up sage that I often carry with me, and I will usually sprinkle that on the ground to thank the forest. And encourage yourself to carry that calm awareness into your daily life. Now, sometimes, little side note here that I want to add is during that optional sharing circle, a lot of times, which I do a lot of forest bathing by myself. So a lot of times what I will do is during the early part of the forest bathing, when I'm wandering slowly through the woods, I will pick some pine needles usually some white pine. I'll just gather some needles and I'll put them in my canteen, which has hot water in. I have a thermos that I will carry with me. And I put the needles into that with hot water. If it's middle summer, it's really hot, I will just put it in my cool water thermos. And I just let it soak the whole time that I'm in the woods. And then during the sharing circle towards the end, which I said was optional, if you're alone, I don't do a sharing circle. Instead, I will sit there and I will pour myself a cup of tea. And you can even do this in your sharing circle too. It is a custom in Japan to do this, where you will share the tea with everyone, or just drink the tea yourself. Pour yourself a little capful of tea and drink that. And while you're drinking that, just reflect on your time in the woods. So these are the basic steps for a forest bathing session. You can do however it comes to you, but basically, let me run through them again. You are starting out with the arrival and intention, where you get to the forest, you set an intention in your head, then you have your threshold crossing is step 2, where you basically take that step into the woods and make it so that it seems different by stopping and noticing changes around you, noticing shifts in the atmosphere, sounds, scents, light, air. Step 3 is your slow wander, which you can do more than once. After your sit spot, you can do a slow wander again. But you're not hiking. You're not trying to get your 10,000 steps. You're not, rushing through the woods. You're just letting the woods draw you in. Okay, so you do your slow wander. Doesn't have to be real long. You can take as long as you want with that step. And then step 4 is your sensory invitations. Let the forest draw you to certain things. Let it draw you in. Let it invite you. That's why we call them the invitations. Let it invite you to explore something more. Not with intent, okay? Just to explore it, okay? So that's step 4. Step 5 is your sit spot. And you can repeat step 4 and 5 as many times as you want. I usually just do them once, where I'll just do one sit spot. And take as long as you want in that sit spot. Okay, so just sit there quietly and just notice. Remember, you're just observing without an agenda. You're just noticing how you feel. You're noticing what is around you. You're listening. You're just absorbing the woods. And then step 6 is either your tea ceremony, as I like to call it, or your sharing circle if you're in a group. Okay, so you can just sit there and reflect on what you absorbed. And you can do this towards the entrance on your way out, or you can do it in your sit spot. And then you close the session. Go back to your starting place, cross that threshold back into reality, if you want to call it that. And then you are thanking. Do not forget the gratitude. Thank the forest for all it has given you. Thank the universe for all it's given you. Okay, thank it. It's given you a lot. Don't forget the gratitude, please. And then encourage yourself to carry this calm into your daily life. So that is essentially a forest bathing session. That's what forest bathing is all about, is to slow down and let the forest heal you. Let the forest take you. Get into your mindfulness. Notice yourself. Okay? I'd like to thank you for joining me today. Get out in the woods, do some forest bathing. Join me in 2 weeks for the next full session. Next week is a meditation, a forest meditation. But the following week, I'm going to actually do an actual forest bathing session with you. So if you want to join me, see how I do a forest bathing session. I'll walk through it step by step, not just telling you how it's done, but I'm going to actually do it so that you can see what a forest bathing session is all about. If you'd like to support the podcast, I encourage you to visit the show notes and make a donation on my Ko-Fi page, or buy a nature journal, or buy some merch, some Nature Wander or Forest Connection merchandise. And all of this helps to support both of my podcasts, the Forest Connection, of course, and also the Nature Wander. So I hope you enjoyed learning about the forest bathing. I hope you will do it as often as you can. The more you do it, the more relaxed you feel. I could just take a nap right now in the woods. I'm just so relaxed right now. I encourage you to do this and keep connecting with the nature around you.
Hello friends, I hope you're out wandering through nature, exploring the natural world around you. Do you enjoy writing about your wanderings? Nature journaling is an awesome, fun way to remember all the adventures you have taken and how you felt during those journeys. If you're looking for some beautiful journals to keep track of all your wanderings, I have several available on Amazon, including some guided journals for children. Start your journey in journaling by clicking on the link in the show notes. Keep exploring the nature around you and keep journaling all your wanderings. Hey there, fellow nature wanderers. If you're like me, you love spending time outdoors, breathing in that fresh air and connecting with the natural world. But at home, have you ever thought about what's in the products you use every single day? That's why I'm excited to share Apple Valley Natural Soap with you. Their handcrafted all-natural soaps are made with organic ingredients, essential oils, and no harsh chemicals. Awesome! So they're not only great for your skin, but they're safe for the planet. And they don't just stop at soap. Apple Valley Natural Soap also carries a full line of natural skincare products, including shampoos, body butters, facial bars, and more. All designed to nourish your skin without synthetic ingredients. You can't beat that. That's just awesome. Whether you're hiking in the woods or just winding down after a long day, their products bring a little bit of nature right into your home. And the best part? By supporting Apple Valley Natural Soap through the Nature Wanderer, you're also supporting this podcast. Just head to the show notes and click on the link for Apple Valley Natural Soap. So go ahead, treat yourself and the environment to something better. Your skin and Mother Nature will thank you. Now let's get on with our adventure.